How's your day going? It's great. How are yours?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, coming in and chatting with me.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you invited me.
Well, I wanted to go over how you got started, what brought you into ALIO, and how far you've come along since you've been one of our biggest success stories here.
Wow. Okay, so I've been at ALIO since October of 2016.
Yeah, that's right. We're going already on 3 years. Oh,
So-
almost 4.
No, 4.5, 3.5.
Yeah, almost 4. Wow.
Yes. You guys saved my life.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave me my life back. I've told you that so many times. I'd had a cyst in my back, and it really pressed on my nerve roots, and it bruised them, and I was very debilitated. I'd lost my muscle mass. I'd lost my endurance. My balance was absent pretty much. I was really in a world of, I physically was in a world of pain.
I know. I remember when you would walk in and, we'd like, where do we start?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what the doctors told you, before you came to ALIO and what concerns you had coming in, not knowing us as people or as the gym, but only by recommendations, like you heard about us from your dance studio, right?
Yes, I did attempt doing a little bit of ballroom dancing, and it was fun, but it was frustrating because I couldn't go up on my toes, even though I thought I was going up on my toes, and it was because of the nerve damage. And my balance was really off. I'd been an ice skater when I was young, and so my balance, I knew what it used to be, and it was gone. So anyway, the dance instructor and my friend Pat, who was one of my friends that I danced with, said, "Oh, you should go see Danny." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, Danny'll help you out, because I couldn't sit, stand, or walk long enough to even know if I could ever have a job again. Yeah. And so I came.
Now, when you came in, you were not working at the time, right? Due to the
I couldn't work.
Conditions.
I couldn't sit. I mean, sometimes I could sit for maybe an hour, maybe it was 5 minutes, and then I'd have pain. And then sometimes I didn't know if I could walk very far or stand very long. So I went through all the things that I'd done in my past careers, and
I remember
didn't know if I could ever find any of those to do again.
Yeah.
And I can remember when I came in, I said to you, "Okay, here's the deal.
Yep. And you
If there's something that bothers me, I'm going to let you know. And I just really want to stay safe because,
Well, I think one of the biggest thing was having that communication at all times, knowing what, specialists have already told you in the past, what to avoid, things like that, but getting to understand you as a person, knowing your limitations, and the body wants to be in motion. You had a lot of drive from the get-go, and I could tell that right off the bat you were going to be someone different and that we could work with, because I knew that you had that ambition to succeed and you wanted to be more than just what specialists told you your limitations were. And I loved that about you. And, why we developed ALIO was to really bring out the best out of everybody. And so once we got to working, I mean, you showed immediate improvements, and we worked with stability control as being one of your main priorities, because we wanted to have a nice solid foundation before we started getting into more complicated movements. And I just remember, having to walk with you to come in and making sure you didn't stumble with your feet. And, you already had a good platform from being a dancer, but having these limitations really put a little hole in your day-to-day routine. And our job was to patch that hole so you could get back on the road again. And it was just an awesome experience from the beginning, and time's flown by. Tell us a little bit about how your recovery's been with stability now that you're able to start doing things. Like, how has this improved your day-to-day living outside of the gym? Like, what are some things you've seen yourself improving outside of the gym?
Well, I think stability is really a big part of your life, because there's so many things in your daily life that you can get off balance just a little bit, and if you can't correct your being upright,
yeah, and I think you've told me several times where you almost fell, and because you had that control, that you prevented a fall from happening, and that long term could prevent injuries and things like that from occurring. So,
and that still happens, in just daily life. I mean, I like to go out in the yard. I like to work a lot.
And the yard work's been one of your hobbies. I know that.
Yes. So I'm really grateful that I can go out and work in the yard. I really love it. But I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
know you
no.
had brought up some other things you wanted me to address.
Well, I know like with exercising as being one of the most important things because of course you wanted more physical conditioning as well and not just mental. You had already gone past the mental stage, which was, all right, I have accepted I have limitations and this is where I've come to. And you've already acquired new exercise movements, different things like that. So confidence starts going up. You start feeling like you're getting the old Kristy back, you know, being that you were a lifeguard once before. You were an aerobic instructor. So you've already had a background in fitness. And to feel like that was taken away from you, I'm sure took a big toll on your confidence. So bringing that back, I saw a different Kristy. I was like, man, like you're coming back. You know, I could see the spark again. You'd come in smiling right off the bat. You'd get right into the exercises. And I felt more confident in you as a trainer, knowing that, okay, you're mentally here now. We can get you to the physical level. Start building on the exercises we've already done with you and teaching you new things and stimulating new muscle growth. And I believe like from that moment that I felt that with you, which was about 6 months in, is when we discussed you going from personal training into group exercises and getting you into that whole new setting. And that was a good push for you because it gave you a new goal to venture out to something that you probably would have thought was impossible, especially other specialists that had told you shouldn't be exercising.
Actually, Danny, it was a year and a half before you let me do group classes.
I know, and it took a while to get to it, but you did it.
And I mean, the thing that I have to say was that you always were concerned with me being safe first, you know, that you weren't going to give me something that was going to cause me pain or put me out of alignment or really hurt me. And so I was really grateful for that. And doing all that personal training, I can remember my class was my personal training was right before you had group class.
And now you had been with physical therapists prior to coming in here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so traditional physical therapy compared to our personal training, I mean, how would you explain the line of differences between that?
Well, one time doing physical therapy, I was told that they didn't want me to exercise anymore. And I was really into personal training with you. I was doing well. And they said, well, you can do it, but no lower body.
Right. Remember that phase?
So
and what did we do?
we sat or we didn't do any lower body. And so I rode just with my arms. I skied just with my arms.
We worked
TRX
around it.
with my arms. Everything was seated. Even the battle ropes were seated. I mean, it was
all
ridiculous.
negatives that were against you and we turned them into ways to make it positive and keep you moving. The whole purpose was to keep you moving. If somebody said your legs stopped working, all right, we're going to go to upper body. Your arms are still moving.
Yeah, that's
Vice versa, we'd go the other way around and we just kept the ball rolling. That was the whole point. Not lose momentum, keep moving, and then build up slowly but surely. And I mean, I want to get into the challenge. You did a 6-week challenge with us, your first one. How did that go?
Well, my first challenge actually was, I think I came in second with that one. And that was the one where I actually had been told to only do upper body.
Right. So you were
that
already
was huge.
going in against people that are able to use their whole body and you're
That's
only
right.
able to use half of your body. And I think in that one we had about 35 competitors against you. So I mean, that's awesome to come into second place. And that was your first challenge you had done with us. And this was being in a group setting, competing against other people. So
right. And I was only doing personal training at that point. And then I think by my third personal challenge was when you said I could do group classes.
Right.
And I was so excited.
Yeah. Were you nervous?
Excited.
Were you
no,
nervous?
I wasn't nervous.
No, not even your first time coming into the group?
No, because I knew that if there was something I couldn't do, that you would give me an alternate.
Yep.
And you and Sam in group class have always done that. You've always given me alternatives.
And that's
because you respect what my limitations are and what I feel comfortable doing.
right. And the beauty of what we do is that it's just myself and Sam.
That's right.
But we communicate about all of our members.
That's right.
Even though he may have not have worked with you at first, he already knew all of your details. I've talked to him about different limitations you had. So transitioning from me to him for the group training should have been a breeze. It should have been a seamless thing, you know?
It was.
Going right into it.
It was. It was great. And that opened up a whole new avenue of getting to meet other class members, really developing relationships with them.
Right. You developed accountability partners. You developed a consistency in your training habits. And then with modifications that we did with personal training for specific exercises transitioned right into personal training. I mean, right into group training.
Right.
Because he already knew what you need to do and what you're capable of doing, and that way there was no issues at all. I mean, did you ever have any discomfort in your group training, or did you feel like you were pretty confident as well in group compared to, you know, personal training?
I always felt confident because I knew the things that were familiar, and then the things that I thought maybe I shouldn't do, you know, immediately. You know, you or Sam would always say, do this instead. And I mean,
Right.
It wasn't like you had to even think about it. It's like you knew exactly what I could do that would achieve the same results without, you know, compromising me.
Yeah, and just off the top of the head, give me a couple examples of exercises that for a fact you could not have done when you came in here that now you're able to do for multiple repetitions.
Oh, when I first came in here, well, I know I couldn't stand on the Boshu ball. You know, it's a
Right, the flat.
sort of- when it's tipped over and it wobbles. Actually, I had tried that previous, and I thought, who does this? There's nobody that can do this. Anyway, so now I can get on the Boshu and balance.
Seeing
and
it and then doing it are two different things.
Right.
You know? And building that relationship with your trainer and building it with the equipment is another thing too, and being able to understand what the purpose of each piece of equipment does to you is important. And I know that with the variety of equipment that we have to offer, like the leg press machines, the Jacobs ladders, the cable towers behind me, those kind of things like that really opened up a lot more activity into your lifestyle, because I mean, you've done phenomenal on the Jacobs ladder. I mean, most people can't do more than 2 minutes at a time straight on it, and you've gone like 5 to 10 minutes on it, and it's actually one of your favorites, right?
I love Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
It's a great machine. It makes you work hard. For me, it pushes my endurance. It makes me build muscle. But it's also for me particularly, it's comfortable. It puts me in a comfortable body position.
Well, it challenges you, but you're able to do it.
Yeah,
and I
it
remember
is.
like when specialists had told you you're not even supposed to be climbing stairs. And instead of climbing stairs, you're now climbing a ladder per se,
Yes.
something more challenging. And you've totally just said no to any limitations coming your way, and you've accomplished and conquered, you know, and that's incredible. That's a huge accomplishment to yourself. And it's a good example of what the body can do. And I think you've inspired a lot of people by what you've done with us here at ALIO.
Well, I've always, you know, listened to my body, and if something didn't feel right or it hurt, then I wouldn't do it.
Right.
And then I would come to you. But I mean, it's true when we do cable things, there's some things on the cable machines, some positions that bother me.
Yeah.
And so we find alternatives. Or
Yeah,
even
and then
with
the good thing is like we've
handles.
taught you so much already that you already know your limitations and you know where to avoid things, and you've become so familiar with it all that if I give this, you know, a specific exercise you already know you can't do or shouldn't do, you already have your modifications and you know what to do, and it's like, you know, it just goes so smooth now that it's not even a concern, honestly. And really it's just about keeping yourself physically fit now at this point.
is.
And you've done really good with nutrition. We've helped you with that. You know,
Lost
you've had
weight.
homework assignments. You're helping somebody today move, and they're on the what? The third floor, you
They're
said?
on the third floor.
Jeez, you're going to be carrying boxes up and down 3 flights of stairs today? I mean, you wouldn't have been able to do that 3 or 4 years ago.
No, I would not have been able to do it.
Maybe that's a good thing, because now you have more people, I'm sure, asking for your assistance. But it's good to be able to help other people, you know, and seeing that you have that ability again to do so is, I mean, I'm sure that's got to feel awesome inside.
It is. And I was going to mention to you, you know, when I first started doing personal training and I had been literally, I'd lost my muscle mass, I'd lost my endurance. I can remember coming in and doing that first personal training session, and actually several after, and I would have to go home and take a nap because I was just so
Exhausted, right? Yeah.
And it wasn't that you were, you know, putting me through the paces, but my body was just in such a bad state. I had no core strength. And I mean, thank you for giving me core strength, because I think that is the thing that has really been the most important.
Well, I think you told me too, like even going into, you have your new job, sitting down and not hunching over anymore. You have good posture. You're able to keep your back muscles controlled, your core stability, and that's helped improve that a lot. I mean, imagine if you were able to work at the time and you were in the position you were in without exercise and hunched over, long term would have caused more chronic back pains.
Right.
And you've been able to prevent all of that from happening. So overall experience at ALIO, I mean, what can you say about it?
There's not enough words to say about ALIO. I love ALIO. I tell everybody I know about ALIO. I talk to them about my experience here. I talk to them about you and Sam and group classes and personal training and the different equipment that's here. I also talk about the atmosphere as far as the decor, and I talk about the people that actually come here to do group classes or personal training that I've gotten to know. And we're all here for our own reasons.
Right.
And you and Sam really have identified that people are here because they want to better themselves in certain areas.
Yeah, and we've been super fortunate to have like amazing members that are all supportive. And I mean, we don't run into the issues of people trying to compete with others.
Right.
It's very conformed to the belief that everybody is here to either help one another or improve each other in more than just physical ways, And I think it's awesome that you have a support system here, and everybody knows you by name. If they don't know your name, they know you're a challenge winner. And if they don't know you're a challenge winner, they know that you're a success story. Because one way or another, you've touched a lot of our members and you've impacted different people's lives here. And I think that's beautiful, like what we've accomplished as trainers and owners, that we're able to create this atmosphere for people that can come up like yourself and call this a home away from home.
Right. And, one of the things that I really appreciate is that I've been inspired through my journey, by so many class members and individuals. I mean, I always am inspired by different members for what they can do or maybe
learn from
them.
You see somebody doing an exercise that maybe you yourself haven't attempted, and you get a little better idea of the mechanics of it and the movements.
Yes.
And then, we communicate, and I'm like, all right, well, let's try it. Let's give it a go. And then this is how we're going to start with it, a building process. And if we feel confident in you being able to do it and you're able to do it, this is something new. And so it's like every day we kind of learn something new about you. And I think that's awesome too, because you're still progressing. And I mean, the journey is never finished. I think you still have a lot to go and a lot more to learn, but you're always taking the progressive steps forward. And I think that's amazing. That's one of your best features and qualities, is that you never have a stopping point. It's always like, what else? What else? What else?
Yeah, I just I just was seeing on the Instagram one of your members doing something, and I remember I came in maybe the day before yesterday. I said, I want to do that.
Yep.
That's my new goal. That's
awesome.
My new goal. Or I'll see something and it's like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and we change the workouts every single day, so it's like there's always something new you could learn, or always something new that you can try.
And that's true. I don't think there's ever been a workout that you have repeated.
No duplicate workouts.
Even though I've said to you, do this one again tomorrow.
I'm like, you can't do the same thing again, but we'll get similar exercises and movements, and put our own little twist on it, and that way you can you can still continue with what you enjoy doing.
So I really I've enjoyed every workout here at ALIO.
Good.
Whether it's personal training or group, the days that I don't work out, I really miss it.
Yeah.
I really feel like, I've missed something, because I love to come here. Mm-hmm. I love to work out.
And you've brought your daughter, your sister, your brother-in-law,
my whole family essentially has been here.
Yeah, so I think it's amazing what you've done, and we're very, very grateful to have you here and a part of this. So thank you for sharing your story with us and your time. And I look forward to seeing where you're going to continue going and how we're going to continue helping you. And we've got a lot lined up for ALIO coming up, so I know you'll be here for the journey with us as well. And I think it's a great relationship we've built as friends and as client to member. So thank you again. Just really appreciate you. So
I appreciate you too, Danny. You're a great guy.
Thank you. We'll see you Monday.
Okay.